More than 7 billion farm animals are raised in the EU each year, and more than 80% of those, that's 5.9 billion animals, are factory farmed. Factory farming is a term used for industrialised, intensive farming, where farm animals are treated as units of production rather than sentient creatures. The conditions they're kept in are different from species to species, but it might include close confinement, large numbers of animals being kept indoors in small spaces, being fed concentrated or grain-based feed, and being intensively bred to create very high yield or fast-growing animals. It might include the prophylactic use of antibiotics to prevent those animals becoming ill due to the conditions in which they're kept. Factory farming stops animals expressing their natural behaviours, and as a result it has detrimental impacts on animal welfare. The justification for these inhumane conditions are that it is needed to feed a growing population, that it is an efficient form of farming. But we disagree. We say that factory farming is inherently inefficient. The nutritional value that's consumed by an animal fed a grain-based diet does not result in the same amount of nutritional value in the meat. For example, studies show that if you feed an animal 100 calories worth of grain-based feed, you get only 30 calories worth of nutritional value from the meat or dairy the animal produces. Factory farming also contributes to climate change, biodiversity loss, pollution. It's a resource-inefficient method of production. We need a new way of farming. We need to bring an end to waste. 90 million tonnes of food is wasted in the EU each year. And we need to get animals back on the land, grazing on pasture. There is a myth about factory farming in the EU. It's a myth based on the idea of animals contentedly grazing in the countryside, whereas the truth is that 80% of these animals are factory farmed. We believe that if the public knew about these conditions, about the inhumane ways in which these animals are raised, there would be outrage and outcry and calls for change. One of the problems is the lack of clear labelling on food as to method of production, which makes it very hard for consumers to know what it is that they're buying. Factory farming goes on behind closed doors, out of sight and out of mind, so it's very difficult for people to know what is really going on. The introduction of legislation, for example the ban on the Barron battery hen cage, does bring these issues into the media, but unfortunately across the EU there is a widespread non-compliance with directives put in place to protect animal welfare, leaving these animals completely unprotected. Public awareness is growing, and as are the calls for change. This isn't a battle that's going to be won overnight, but we're all in it for the long haul.